with that discussion, we wanted to have Rasmea Odeh with us to share her experiences, her personal experience. That, as we said on the promotion, it really is a life of a struggle. I'm not going to say much about Rasmea because I think Rasmea is already going to tell you who she is, where she comes from, and what she's been doing during the last 5 decades of her life. But I just wanted to say that we are really honored and humble of having Rasmea here, of having an example of a woman that has been on a struggle for all this time in spite of everything that she's been going through. And always and continuously organizing with different communities, not only Arab communities, but also people of color in the US, in Chicago, where she spent a long time. And so that we're really, really happy to have her with us, and we look forward to listen to her. So the idea is we're going to have half an hour. Whenever Rasmea is done, we will open and continue the discussion. But before this, I wanted to thank Rashida Aziz for hosting us in this incredible space, which we are very keen on organizing with and supporting anytime we have the chance to. We hope that this continues to grow, l'espace, but we also hope that there are more spaces like this coming, more safe space where we can have political discussions. And we also hope that, I was talking with Rasmea, with Rashida outside, and the whole thing about putting this festival together was also to try to open up bridges between different struggles, which sounds easier than it looks in practice. And it's going to be a hard work, but it's clear that that seems to be the way to go. And so I think Rashida is already doing that, and this is the space for it. So thanks, Rashida, and also thanks to ABP, Association Belgo-Palestinienne, Nadia Fark, which has been really busy. All these people working on activism are, but we do have a representative, it seems, over there in the back. All these people working in organizations, many are falling on burnouts, so that means that we either need to change things or that we need to have more people working together. And finally, Palestina Solidarität as well, and Selwa Othman in particular. So welcome, thank you for coming, and a big applause for Rasmea, please.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
I think Professor Omar can speak without any papers, without anything, because maybe French and English his mother language. English is not my mother language. I prefer to speak in Arabic, but because there's people doesn't understand in Arabic, so I have to speak in my poor English. I hope you can understand me. I will read the thoughts that I put, or the ideas that I put in my laptop, then give you chance to ask and to have discussions. At the beginning, thank you for the organizers who organized this night, and to the host of this place as well. It's an incredible place, actually. Thank you. I'm a Palestinian woman. I was born and grew up in a war zone since 1947. I'm too old than you, but I always said I'm 21 years old. I have been struggling with my people for close to 70 years under Israel's illegal colonial military occupation and its oppressive and racist practices. The Israelis committed massacres. I'm sorry to speak a little bit about Palestine and what's going there, because some of you maybe don't have any idea or enough idea about that. The Israelis committed massacres and expelled the Palestinians from our homes and lands at gunpoint in 1948. My family, like all the Palestinians, lost all our lands and property. We fled under the pressure of the violent Israeli attack. We grew up thinking that we were all going back to our homes within days when the danger was gone. But there we are, still waiting to go home until the moment. This reality has affected all my lives, like all the Palestinians as well. The Nakba catastrophe was followed by another war in 1967, when Israel occupied the rest of Palestine. The military occupation of the West Bank and Jerusalem continued siege of Gaza. Terrorized Palestinians without regard to age or gender. The Israeli soldiers during the 3 wars on Gaza assured that military forces deliberately target civilians, shelling them while in their houses. The military checkpoints and apartheid wall destroyed the land and patients from reaching health centers and hospitals. In addition, Israel now holds 6,119 prisoners. 330 out of them are children, some as young as 11 years old, and 450 administrative detention. It means they don't have charge and they are not going to court. Out of the 450, 7 are members of the Palestinian Legislative Council. Palestinian and Israeli human rights organizations both reported that torture is still used against these political prisoners, as well as collective punishment, as what's happened with me. When they arrested me, they arrested the whole family and they demolished the family house. Even not just my parents' house, the whole family buildings. The political challenges are great, we know that. Today's coalition, led by Prime Minister Netanyahu, is the most racist and right-wing government Israel has ever had. Violent Zionist settler groups are supported by this right-wing government as they physically attack Palestinians at Jerusalem and villages, cities and universities all over the Palestinian territories. The recent racist attacks from Israeli settler and military has led to the killing Palestinians and arrest others, especially kids, since Trump's announced that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. In spite of this reality, I worked hard to be positive and active and help my people, especially women, to fight for our rights. I have experienced a harsh, unstable, and terror-filled life with all my people. I was almost killed more than once and continue to be under attack. I'm a hardcore activist committed to clear principles. I put time and effort into doing the best work possible, and I'm not satisfied with anything less, whether from myself or anybody else I work with, even the woman whom I organize. This is why I emerged as a community leader and a member of several leadership teams over the years. As you all know, I lived the difficult life of political prisoner for 10 years when I was 20 years. In that time, I had been a student in the medical college. When I was arrested randomly in 1969 with over 500 people, including my father and two sisters. One of them was paralyzed. They arrested her in spite she was paralyzed. We were tortured, all of us, and sexually harassed and assaulted into a false confession by the Israeli military, and then convicted in an unlawful military court in 1970. Also, at 2013, the US government used the wrongful conviction 44 years ago in Palestine to convict me there, alleging that I lied on my immigration document because I didn't say that I have been arrested in Israel. I spent 5 weeks incarcerated in Michigan. 4 of these weeks in an isolation cell under severe condition. It was a truly upsetting experience. To feel that they really wanted to destroy me was extremely frightening. I had to work very hard to protect myself from that. I had to work hard to keep myself in sound mental condition so that I could focus on trying to maintain my physical health. I began participating in various activities such as singing, yoga, prayer, expressing my feeling in words, remembering discussion that I had with friends who have tranquil personalities, and recalling the calm ways that face crisis. And I would even imagine discussing my situation with friends and how they would advise me. My incarceration made me very much afraid to relive my experience in Israeli jail. While in custody, they tried to control every aspect of my life, my physical body, my mind, and they reached a point where I wouldn't sleep because I didn't want to put myself in a position where I was weak and could be controlled. The whole system of incarceration is designed to destroy people's humanity and make them feel hopeless and in despair. I saw with my own eyes how other prisoners' women were driven to extremes like screaming and shouting just to feel like they were still human and still alive. Humans are social. To be in isolation or to be in solidarity not only cuts you off from other people, but also affects you by cutting you off from yourself. It destroys you emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, and makes you feel as if you are no longer whole. This is the deadliest thing. If a person doesn't have principle she believed in and some confidence in herself, she can easily lose her sanity. I was so lucky to have family, friends, and supporters all over the country and the world in my life. I want to tell you that my supporters changed the negative reaction against me, whether in the detention center or in my sentencing. The letters of support I received while I was in detention center, at least the first week when I have been with the other prisoners, because first week I have been with others, then they put me in isolation. And the ones they sent to the judge played an important role in breaking the isolation and providing a warm feeling in my heart and mind while I was in the freezing cell. With all of the support, I was able to face the challenges and difficulties that threatened my moral and my life. I'm especially grateful to the brave immigrant and refugee women I have been working with as a community organizer for the past 13 days with the Arab Women's Committee, a project of the Arab American Action Network in Chicago, the organization where I have been working. They left their families, that's women, left their families, their children, their responsibilities at work and at home to travel with me to my trial and sentencing and express their support. In the Arab Women's Committee, there's over 800 members work together for positive change through education, community organizing, immigrant rights leadership training, advocacy, adult education, coalition building, and civil liberties that challenge system of oppression such as national and racial profiling, sexism, and patriarchy. My organizing work with them has been a tool for Arab immigrant and refugee women to look inside themselves, find and develop their strength and confidence, raise their voices, and participate in decisions that affect their lives. We Palestinians stand firmly for social justice and liberation everywhere. The same way my people have dedicated their lives to the liberation of Palestine. My people stand up to these challenges by resisting racism, colonialism, occupation, and imperialism every single day. They organize and they protest and they strike and they fight the racist Zionists over hours of every single day. They do bravely because they know that they have the support of all of you here and other people of consciousness across the world. We need to join struggle, the responsibility to support and foster relations with the struggles of the oppressed in this country, in Palestine and all over the world. I believe that all of us have the same hopes and dreams. We stand for social justice and liberation, the same way my people have dedicated their lives to the liberation of Palestine. Our challenges are tough, but challenges are not frightening. And as long as we believe in our rights and the principle that we stand for, have confidence in ourselves and rise up together, we become stronger and more effective. Then we can achieve our goals and beyond. The anti-colonial struggles in Africa, Latin America, and Asia have always been an inspiration to us as Palestinians. We continue to find inspiration and strength from those struggles and today's, and we recognize that any liberation in any country will lead to the liberation for Palestine and for all oppressed people everywhere. All of us have dedicated our lives to the same hopes and dreams. We stand for social justice and liberation, the same way you are fighting for your rights and the rights of your people. As you know all, justice is not a gift or a handout that we wait for someone to give us. Justice is a human right that must be fought and won. With all of you, people who have strong will and determination, we will achieve justice and freedom to make positive change and a better future in our communities, all over the community and beyond. Together we can stand up strongly in unity against injustice and policies of violence and domination abroad. We need to develop stronger solidarity relationship between us and with other communities who believe in our objective in this country and all over the world. Together, we can end Israeli occupation and colonization, realize true national liberation and democratic rights for our countries, and continue our struggle to achieve equality and independence for ourselves and our communities everywhere. Thank you.
I wanted to just maybe ask Rasmea. There is a very good friend of Rasmea, Margot.
I want to say
and I think
something.
she wanted to say something because
I didn't want to say
Yeah.
through my speech,
Yeah.
but I want to tell you that the jail is very harsh, but the relationship inside the jail become very, very, very strong. And even if we didn't meet for a long time, when we meet, we feel that we left each other just yesterday. Today, I met one of my best friends whom we didn't meet 43 years.
Whoa.
Margot. She struggled for our Palestinian issue, and she spent a time in the jail. We were very best friends there, of course, because we faced the same enemy and the same hard situation, so become too close. I didn't believe this morning when I met her. I thought I left her just yesterday. Maybe the ages make the things more strong, the relationship more strong. I don't know. In spite I'm 21 years old.
Of course.
But really, I'm very proud to introduce her. To see how
So the floor is yours for asking any questions to Rasmea.
do I say everything? When I wrote my thoughts, I said maybe there's different sectors here. There's women work for the women, there's students, there's film directors, there's workers, there's different sectors. Even I didn't know what to say. I hope that I said things that you can ask more, of course, because I couldn't cover everything in this short time. Yeah.
Rasmea, from one community builder to another, we need your experience and insight. How did you manage to cross borders with women from different origins, different ethnicities, and so on, and get them together around the joint cause, which is, of course, all women, especially all women of color? What is your experience in that? What was the difficulties that you met in joining those forces? How did you get along with it?
I'm organizer since over, I don't want to say more, 50 years old or more. I'm organizer, I know how to reach the people. But in United States, actually, I worked with the women in Palestine, in Jordan, in Syria, in Lebanon, and finally in United States, not finally, because I go back to Jordan now. So the women in United States, especially, they left their countries not by their choice. They didn't choose to go to United States. Some of them married, some of them went for different reasons. But I worked with the Arab woman, not just the Palestinian woman, and we coordinate with Black and Latino and other different communities. But I organized the Arab woman. At the beginning, I want to tell you a short story how I began there. I used to be in Michigan. I went to visit my sister's family in Chicago. We went to a park and I saw a small girl, maybe she was 6 or 7 years old, sat on a chair there and cried. I went to her and I didn't know who is she or from any community she was. I spoke with her in English why she was crying. I wanted to help her. I told her, these kids is your friends, no? She said, yes. Why you don't play with them? She said, because my mother didn't allow me to play with them. Who's your mother? And she began to cry more and more. I asked her, what's your name? She said, Sarah. Okay, Sarah. Who's your mother? Where they are living? She didn't want to say, but she gave me by some words where she's living. And I didn't know Chicago. I don't know the streets or addresses or anything, because I used to live in Michigan and they're different states. Next day, I went to look, ask people where that street, where they're building. At the beginning, in my head, I thought she's Spanish, Latino. I went there, I knocked the doors, nobody opened. Somebody opened from inside, I entered. I went up to the 5th floor without elevator. And I didn't know where to knock. There's 4 doors. I tried to look to see something, give me any sign. At the end, I decided to knock one door. A young lady looks from the door. How can I help you? I told her, are you Sarah's mom? She said, yeah. What do you want from me? What's happened to my daughter? I told her, no, nothing. But yesterday I saw her, I want to discuss with you. While I'm speaking to her, her son called her and she said, Muhammad, I'm coming in Arabic. أنا جاية. I said, oh, she's an Arab woman. She's not Latino. Then I spoke with her about why she didn't allow her women and all of that. She said, I can't let her play or go out with other communities because I'm afraid that black people or others may be doing bad things for her. I don't like her to be part of these groups. I told her that she's in the school all the day with them. You don't know what she's doing. You have to educate her how to protect herself. Then I asked her, all the Arab women thinking like that? She said, yes, all of us, in a proud way, that they isolate their kids. I told her, okay, can I come to drink coffee with you and other women from your neighbors, your friends, and many women? Just I want to hear what's the problem. Maybe I can help. Really, after 2 days, I went and I listened why they isolate their kids. So I couldn't do anything because I had to go back to Michigan. I went there, my father and my brother passed away one after the other, so I decided to move to Chicago. I moved there and I decided to find organization to work through to help me to reach the people and to see what can I help. And really, I used to go door to door in an old-fashioned way of reach out, just ringing bells, maybe Arab, maybe not, maybe open the door, maybe not, from door to door. And I did small groups, then I collected the small groups. After 3-4 months, we collect hundreds of women with their kids who's in the middle level and secondary. and we brought people from the educational sector to discuss their problem. And from that, we continue to work, and they saw how we helped them, really. And we didn't just make training for them, because it's very difficult to speak about their feeling and their problems at houses, especially the men didn't allow, after 9/11, all the men blocked on their women and girls at home, and they didn't allow them to get out because the situation wasn't secure. And I reached the men, I discussed them in their houses, and I continue to do that. I used education, film directors I like to write. I wrote, when I heard about their problem, I wrote plays, and they act these plays, and we discuss it. They can discuss in this way openly because they didn't feel it's their problem. It's just play. In this way, really, it was a great way to educate them and to have more and more until we get now over 800 plus other supporters, who's not members, just supporters. And we succeed to do that. The important thing, to believe in you that you want to help them. Yes.
We have a few questions from people watching live, so can I ask them? It's a question about Syria and Lebanon, and they would like basically to have your opinion on what's happening in Syria. First.
I'm coming, please, to speak about my experience, not about Syria and Lebanon. Leave this question aside.
Okay.
Because this is take long and need other time, not this.
All right.
I want to focus on my experience here.
You heard it.
We are against the imperialism anywhere. And the imperialism who do all the problems in all our Arab countries. This is what I can say. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
Rasmea, you spoke a lot about, you use the words struggle and liberation. I think that struggle and liberation in the years 60 had a different meaning from now. What is the face of Palestine as you would like to see it after the liberation?
After
the liberation, or after you succeeded in your struggle, what would be, how will it look like in Palestine?
we didn't liberate it yet. We have to continue our struggle. I don't know until when. Maybe we will win, not on our time, maybe on our kids' time or our other ages. Of course, we want liberation, we want to go back to Palestine, all Palestine, it's our country. We want to be independent. We want freedom, like all the people in all the world. Why the Palestinians don't have to have this? For that, we are ready to continue our struggle until we reach our goals. Maybe I can't imagine there's possibility to have two countries, Israel and Palestine. I can't imagine this because I spoke about Israel and the right wing and what they want. But I think maybe in the future we have to have one country, one free country, with far from colonization and occupation. Free country, free Palestine. And this is what I said the judge in the court. You celebrate 4th of July because you kick out the British from United States, while the Palestinian don't allow to kick the Zionists, the Israel from Palestine, and celebrate in Palestine. Yeah.
Rasmea, could you tell us about your experience in the Israeli prison as compared to your experience in the US prison? Because for many people, US practices and Israeli household practices are so similar, and I wonder if you saw any similarities there, and especially since you're also a lawyer, what is it like? I mean, you know exactly the rules, and you know exactly when they break them, and you have this double consciousness as a prisoner and at the same time as a lawyer. You have the inside and the outside perspective about the prisoner.
I think there's no big differences between both. Both portrayed the Palestinian as a terrorist, the political activist as a terrorist and criminal. Both. Both put the prisoner in situation to break us and to kill us. They don't want to kill us directly, in spite Israel don't mind to kill us direct, because they killed too many prisoners under the torture. And I saw the death more than once in the under the Israeli torture. And all the laws is similar for the prisons and for criminal and terrorist issue. It's similar. Even the police, the United States police sent to Israel to train them how to deal with the communities in the streets and in the prisons. It's same. And for that, I said, even in Palestine, in Israeli jail, all the prisoners for same issue. So they define themselves together against the administration and police and guards and all of these things. In United States is more difficult because the political prisoners is not together in specific places. They put them with the other prisoners who have criminal charges. I don't know if they are criminal or not, but they have criminal charges. So it's not easy to organize them. It's not easy. In spite, I didn't find so difficulties to reach them and to accept them beside me. I just told them one thing. If somebody, because they spoke about their kids, about the police, how they took their kids from them and all of these things, I told them, imagine if the police or anybody, foreign person, came and kicked you out and told you, this house is mine, and go you and your kids out. What do you have to do? All of them said, we will kill them. Okay, this is what's happened with us as a Palestinian. They took our lands, our houses, our properties, and kicked us out. And not just this, they did massacres and they push us out under the gun fight. So for that, they try to understand me from the beginning. In Israeli jail is different. But also, United States tortured you, put you in environment torture, as I said. But Israel tortured you directly. For example, they destroyed our house, the family house. They brought all our families. In spite, one of my sisters was paralyzed, and she's still until now. And they put her with criminal prisoners and burn her body with cigarettes in Muscovia. This is the torture center there in Jerusalem. My father was almost 80 years old. They brought him and beated him, and they asked him to make sex with me while I was without any clothes. And not just my father. They brought other prisoners as a part of torture for me and for the others. This is what Israel, they used electricity, they used everything direct to kill you. One of the prisoners was killed while they tortured him in the electricity in front of me in the same cell. So, and they use electricity with me. But it seems I have still time to see other things. And this is the situation. It's not big differences. And as I told them in the prison in United States, the place where I have been, where they put me, it looks like Guantanamo. I told them, Guantanamo, the media reached there and wrote about the place. But here, the media didn't reach. I told them, I will be the media who will speak out about this place. They do everything, but they don't want anybody knows. This is the situation.
Obviously, you were in the States. You were a victim of Zionist pressure to get you out of the country or to put you in prison. And my question is: after 70 years of very visible colonial, racist, criminal behavior towards Palestinians, what makes it still to this day so difficult to let the Western international world put pressure, like they did with South Africa, on Israel through blockades or through certain political sanctions? Or why is it still, I have a feeling it's still so difficult to get solidarity? There is solidarity, of course, but not in the mainstream.
Solidarity with whom? With the government or with the people?
With the people.
No, with the people we have solidarity. I told you, because of the solidarity in United States, I'm in this situation now. But if I didn't have, I don't know what will happen. Because there's some people, nobody knows anything about them. They will die in the prisons without anybody ask about them. and I got a big solidarity from all over United States and all the world. The judge received letters from all over the state and other countries outside of United States,
So why
and that's helped me.
So why is it difficult then to transfer this into government policies? Why can't we influence governments to, and I know I'm being a little bit optimistic here, the topic maybe, but it did happen at some point in other struggles. I always wonder, why is it that with the Palestinian struggle, yeah, it's lasted 70 years so far.
And maybe
There's
other
something we're doing
70,
wrong.
maybe other 70 years, I don't know. I don't know. But at the beginning, I had a judge. He supported Israel by sending groups there and by money. Him and his family. We asked him to leave my case. He refused. Then we searched and we knew that his family owned the supermarket that they said, alleged that I put explosion in it. So at the end, we forced him to leave to the case. But when other judge came, black, he was white, the first one. The second was black, and he was good lawyer, defense lawyer. But when Obama appointed him as a judge in federal court, why he has to defend me or to leave his position for me? Who's Rasmea? He wants his chair, his position. So he stand up with the prosecutor for everything, and at the beginning he refused to let me and my attorneys to speak about Israel and about the torture. For that we had appeal and we won the appeal, and the case went again and they began. For that they changed the case from lie, or I didn't say that I have been in prison, to a new charges, the same charges what's happened in Israel before 44 years. Same things. And in general, they can't do case for same case that I got sentence about it. But they did. Yes.
As we know, you spent the 10 years of your age in the prison. How do you feel? Do you regret that, spending 10 years of the best years of your age in the prison?
Yes, when they arrested me, I have been 20 years. Maybe in your age, maybe younger than you, I don't know. But who believe in our rights doesn't think about what he has to do. He has to be active and defend our rights. And I believed in that. I did that for Palestine, not for any other people, just for Palestine, for our right in Palestine. So I tried with the other prisoners to teach each other, to strengthen each other, to face the administration. So we began other new way in our struggle inside the prison. It's different outside and inside the struggle inside the prison. So I continue to struggle, And some people ask me, do you feel that you lost your youth and your nice age time in this? I said, no, never. I should admit it.
Regrets.
Never I will regret about that. Never. Because I continue to struggle until now. Even in Jordan, I have maybe the shape of the struggle, the role of the struggle is different, but we have to continue. And I think you are the young people who have the power, who is active. You have to be more active to help in the struggle, because the future is you. You can't begin alone. You have to learn from our experience, and you have to continue until we reach our goals. Even for the Palestinians.
So thank you for mentioning this aspect of the role of the youth. And indeed, I wanted to ask you what's your advice for the new generations who want to continue to struggle for the liberation of Palestine, for justice. What is the advice and how would you address the best way to continue?
To be part of the resistance in the way that you can do, and it's the ones on the place where you are. And there's different ways of resistance. There's BDS, it's important. There is organizing people, it's important. To speak about our rights to others and explain about Palestine and our rights, it's kind of struggle. Exactly as our people inside doing other kind of struggle. There's too many kind of struggles we have to do. I can't say here you can do this or that, but you have to learn your situation, the place where you are, and find what you could do. Of course, you are the youth, like the oxygen to the Palestinian, and you have to continue, find out what you can do to be part of this resistance tool for Palestine. Everybody can do what he can do. The student can do work in the schools, in the universities, the workers around them, to make strike, to support what's going inside of Palestine. There's different kinds of struggle and resistance. Yes.
This one goes back to Rashida's question in the beginning about building bridges between the Black American struggle and the Palestinian struggle. So in the 70s, it was a very strong bond through people like George Jackson in the jail, and I mean there was obviously the whole festival was on that theme. And the question is, how do we build? How did we achieve that goal? And how can we here in Belgium reach out to other communities and basically other ethnicities to join our struggles against imperialism?
It's the same answer that I just said, because I don't know here whose communities here and how you can build the bridges, but always there's way to build bridges. In United States, even in this time, and since maybe 5 years almost with my case when it began, really there's a good relationship between all the communities, not just the Black communities, also Chinese, Latinos, Latin America, all the communities. So I can't answer this. You have to know how to reach the people. If you believe with your right, so you have to find out how to do that.
Yesterday, Rasmea was explaining a little bit of the work that you were doing with the in terms of education, and I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit in Chicago in terms of educating kids, some of which eventually would grow up and go to the court to support you. Mm-hmm. And if you can talk, because before also we were talking outside, I think the Palestinian Arab Union is also doing similar jobs. So if you can talk about the role of education among different age sectors and how that it's also building and politicizing.
I spoke just about the woman because there's too many women here and they want to have they want to take advantage from my experience. But I have been in an organization, it's called Arab American Action Network. This organization since 70, but after 9/11, they burned the offices with everything, with the files, computers, everything. And the police didn't know who did that. So after that, there were small organizations in that area. All of them worked together and they took the name Arab American Action Network for all that organization. And they have different programs. All the programs together worked to help the Arab families, to strengthen them. There's program for women, there's programs for the kids between 5 and 12 years old, and the other program for the high school and college kids between 13 and 19, and include the women. All of these programs, different programs, we worked with them and put programs for them and training to strengthen them, to empower them, to teach them what they didn't have in the schools about Arab countries, about political issue, about right issue, about different issues they don't have in the schools, and leadership, the important leadership training for all the different sectors. And when the kids between 6 and 12 become a leadership and understand what's the political rights from where they are, from some of them from Palestine. From where? From Palestine. Maybe some of them used to say من مخيم الوحدات. But they are not from Mukhayyam al-Wahdat. They are from 48 part of Palestine. So we taught them that. We taught them how to defend their right. And it's going up and up with the ages. And even they used to, when something happened in Gaza, the war on Gaza, what's happening in West Bank from Israel, they're going to street, they're going to FBI offices, Homeland Security, the kids with their moms, and raise their voices. They went to Israeli embassy and they raised their voices to defend Palestine and to defend not just Palestine, because there's Arab people. What we know the wars in all of the Arab countries, and United States main issue. Who wants to do that in all our countries? So we teach them that. And really, we play a good role to support their countries. We send them about the Palestinians. Yearly, we send groups to Palestine by coordination with the other organizations inside of Palestine. The other countries the same. Yemen, Sudan, Syria, or wherever we can send the kids, we are doing that with coordination with their organization, to feel they are part, even if they're born in the United States. They are not just American.
So you're also working with second generation.
Yes, of course,
not just
of course,
refugees
of
or
course. In my case, all the kids in our youth and after school program, the small kids, they were going to the court, to other states, to support me in my case. When they deported me, they went to the airport to support me. This is what we taught the kids. And when they grow up, they become, they know and better understand what's their responsibility. And they become creative. And, okay, thank you. I think.